Alright, so starting off with the part 2, I'm gonna start with this light again because I think it's such a cool light to have. You know, I wrapped it, kind of built from a host because I don't have a CNC machine to build this kind of stuff. So custom switch, both switches are custom. So I have a floodlight in there and a thrower light from 2 S8, 2 C8 plus throwers in there, and this is XPL Hi, 65K LEDs in there, sitting on copper MCP/CP, and it's sitting on a copper shelf with a copper heatsink behind it. So it's 2 copper pieces back there, and then it's mounted onto the headlight itself. And then back there, I believe those are XPG2 LEDs. There's 6 of them back there. With 2 different drivers, one for the right switch, which is for the thrower on the right, and that clear switch, which is for, the one on the right is for the floodlight, and the one on the left is for the thrower light. They both independently operated because there's 2 drivers I built from different MCPC boards, custom from MT and Electronics. It's got a charger on there, which I rarely ever use, but it does work. The light will turn red when it needs to, as you're charging, and when it's fully charged. And it cuts off at 4.2 volts. It stops. It turns green when it's fully charged. So this is one of my cooler lights. Moving on. This is what I call RC lava, because it's just so damn hot when it's running. It's basically a knockoff Q8 host with I did the embossing on there myself by hand with a Dremel, just letting people know it's hot, it'll burn you. So it's got 3 XHP 70.2s in there on boards with a big piece of copper on there with another second piece of copper heat sink that basically runs all the way down to here with a custom driver underneath there. That's built around running these things in series on, this is a 4S1, so the batteries are all run 4 18650s run in series, and run to these LEDs, which are run, I believe when I built it, these are running, these are 12 volt emitters, 12 volt boards, 12 volt boards that set up to run parallel and with a ramping driver. As you can see, I tested it on my light tube, and it put out somewhere near 19,000 lumens at 30 seconds. After 1 minute, it drops to around 15,005 lumens. So it's a pretty stupidly bright light, pretty hot as well. I put a thermal control onto the board, and it's fully programmable, so I could cut it off when at either a time integral or temperature. So that's pretty nifty. Moving on to my Sofirn Q8 that's been modified. This is another cool light. This is running on 4 18650s. That's running series, and it's running 4 XHP35 emitters on there with a custom built driver board. It's pretty cool, and the driver board is programmable as well. So that's turbo, It's just pretty bright. I forget, I think this one puts out around 15,000 lumens. I can't tell you the candelas are how long it's throw, but it's a pretty good thrower. This one, I'm gonna crack this one open just to show you the back of it. The amount of work I had to put into getting this to work. Bear with me here. Alright, I got it off. So, as you can see, all of this shelving is like, you know, put together. And you put those screws in there so it has, you know how to put it in there and not put the contacts in correctly. So right here I put some thrust ball bearings on here, some thrust bearings to make it run smooth, you know, when you're tightening it down. Anyhow, moving on, this is my Convoy for X18A with that new 90 emitter. I'm going to use the CB90 standard batteries in there. And this is my JK36 with a custom boosted driver board with a custom 7070 emitter from Kaidomain. Testing these things out. They don't like a lot of amperage. I probably went through about maybe 5 different iterations of this thing as far as driver boards and emitters in there, different colors, dedoming, and I think I'm gonna leave it right here because it's got a nice color and a nice throw, and it's pretty reliable. You can drop it in some bucket of water and not have to worry about it. It also has a USB charger in the back, and it also, you charge it from the back. Nice throw on there. Let me show that off a little bit. That's turbo. That's low. Yeah, that's off. And moving on, this is my Haikelite MT07S Hi. It's got an XHP35.2 Hi in there, and I've got the, you know, a modded driver board in there, resistor mod, and bypass the springs in there. Running on 4.35 volt, 35, 3.5 amp, 18650s. It's pretty good thrower. It's really reliable too. I've taken it out to several events and used them on, you know, helping out a lot of buddies that's, you know, flying at night. But anyhow, it's a pretty reliable light. I like Haikelites. They make pretty good, solid, reliable lights, such as, you know, there's a couple of brands like Convoy I can always rely on as being reliable. AStrolux, also a really reliable light. This is AStrolux's modified. It's got a driver mod in there. It's got XHP35.2. I sometimes switch between these extra length carrier. You know, it depends on where I'm going. And then this is my jeez, so many lights to remember. You guys probably already know what this is. I forgot the name of this light. It's probably one of my favorite. It's got 18 emitters and XPG2s on there. So the driver board's been modified current wise. I think I tested it to put out somewhere around 18,500 lumens at 30 seconds. It's pretty sweet light, very reliable, I like it. Next to it is a Convoy L6 with this custom 7070 emitter from Kaidomain. That is, well, let me kind of show this one. This has got these straps on there. They kind of get in the way. But that thing is just, you know, pretty serious bright. Sweet light. Okay, put that back. The L6 has a spring bypass. All my lights have basically spring bypass. Some of them I only do that. That's the only mod. But with the L6, it has a resistor mod on there. All right, that's got a pretty nice throw, pretty strong light, running on 26 650 batteries. It's another reliable light. It's stupid bright, stupid throw. It also has an air coated glass and clear reflector on there. It's a pretty cool light. Moving on, that's my big boy, the MS18 unmodded. It's 65K light output, and that's the AStrolux MF04S. It's got a XHP35.2 in there, de-domed. It's pretty sweet because I spent a lot of time de-doming that thing. And that's a stock BLF GT 70 beside it, basically brand new. I've never really used it. I only, put the batteries in there and kind of shine it around the house and such. That's like a custom one-off light right there. It's basically, it started out with regular off-the-shelf like eBay grid array LEDs in there with reflectors on there, custom drivers in the back. It runs off of anywhere between 12 to 36 volts based on the application I'm using it for. I could use it running off of lipos like 6S or 12S lipos if I want to bring it that high, but I've never brought it above the 36 volt, which it can, but I specifically tuned it to run from 12 to 36 volts. That's now currently running on the Cree CXB3590 diodes, which I've seen, and someone used it before. It's like probably the world's most powerful Cree LED right now, other than the XHP70.2s. They're pretty large. They're about the size of like a dollar, a coin dollar. I don't remember testing the output on there, but added up, I think the lumens output on there was something around 35 to maybe 45,000. I may be exaggerating. I'm not sure. It's been a while since I tested that or worked with it. But I've got it running off of 8 gauge cable, about 10 feet, calculated to the maximum cable length I could run that 8 gauge wire. So I could run it off of lipos, or I could run it off the car, just basically on the application. I could run it. So yeah, these are basically all my lights. And in the back I have that's a 100 watt, a true 100 watt HID thrower light in the back. That plugs into the car's 12 volt power supply. That one I modded with a higher output because the stock HID bulb that was in there was not a 100 watt bulb. It wasn't even a 50 watt. It was a 35 watt that was kind of overdriven with a cheap HID ballast. So I put a true 100 watt ballast in there and a true 100 watt bulb. I think it's also 65K HID bulb, and that is like a Batman signal. That thing is ridiculous throw. I don't think I have anything here that can throw as far as that HID. Granted, it doesn't have an onboard battery, but it's pretty sweet. Yeah. All right. If you guys want to leave a comment, tell me what you think about these lights. Let me know. Thanks. Bye.